Chosen one. Stop and listen. Heaven has interrupted your timeline to speak. Everything around you slows as eternity leans in. This is not random. You are not scrolling by chance. The Spirit of God has ordered this very moment to warn you of a mistake that could dismantle what has been prepared for you before December 30th. You've felt it, haven't you? That stirring in your chest. That quiet sense that something sacred is near. Heaven has been building in silence, arranging events behind the scene. But now, before the unveiling, a final test approaches. A Tuesday unlike any other. It will look ordinary to the world, but in the spirit realm, it will decide whether you rise into your divine season or wander another cycle of delay. You are standing between almost and arrival. The difference lies in discernment. The enemy, knowing how close you are, will not attack you loudly. He will whisper. He will send familiar faces, old habits, and sudden distractions wrapped in good intentions. He will make you believe it's urgent, that it's harmless, that it's your responsibility. But heaven says pause. This is the moment to listen deeper than ever before. You have prayed for open doors. But open doors also attract thieves. Not every invitation is divine, and not every opportunity is from God. Some are traps in disguise, meant to exhaust you before your release. That's why this Tuesday matters. Heaven isn't warning you to scare you, it's protecting what's already yours. Think of how the prophets waited. Think of Joseph in the prison, David in the caves, Esther before the king. They all had moments when one wrong reaction could have canceled divine timing, and yet they held still. That's what heaven asks of you now. Stillness that looks foolish to men but is obedience in heaven's eyes. You've come through fire this year. The betrayals, the isolation, the unanswered prayers, they weren't punishment. They were purification. Heaven was training your discernment so that when this Tuesday comes, you would recognize the subtle difference between noise and the voice of God. The Spirit whispers through the ancient words of truth. The voice of God thundered in the book of Exodus, chapter 14, verse 13. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, which He will accomplish for you today. Do you feel that quiet conviction, that burning peace that doesn't make sense? It's heaven's signal that you are standing on holy ground, that your next step must be chosen with care. This isn't about fear, it's about precision. You cannot afford to act from emotion. You must move from revelation. The enemy wants to make you rush, because rushing blinds you. When you hurry, you lose the sound of heaven's footsteps beside you. But when you wait, when you hold your ground in faith, God moves mountains on your behalf without your hands touching a single stone. There will be tests wrapped in normalcy this Tuesday, a text, a call, a conversation that seems innocent. Pay attention to your spirit. If peace leaves, don't proceed. Peace is not passive, it is prophetic. When it departs, it's heaven's way of saying not this. You have been chosen for divine precision. Every step you take from this moment forward matters. The Tuesday ahead is not meant to break you, but to reveal whether you have truly learned the art of listening. Heaven's favor is heavy, and only those who can carry obedience will carry glory. Chosen one. I need you to understand this clearly. Your next breakthrough is not waiting for another prophecy. It's waiting for your obedience. Don't let emotion steal what prayer built. Don't let pressure make you reopen what God closed. God has already written the blessing with your name on it. All He asks now is that you do not trade it for temporary satisfaction. One small act of wisdom can preserve years of divine preparation. One surrendered silence can protect everything heaven has stored. So listen carefully when Tuesday arrives. Do not move without peace. Do not react from fear. Guard your time, guard your heart, and trust that heaven will finish what it started. You are about to see the salvation of the Lord not because you fought harder, but because you obeyed deeper. If your spirit knows this word is for you, if something inside you is awakening right now, then share it so it reaches another chosen one before their Tuesday comes. Like, comment, and subscribe because heaven uses your obedience even in small acts of faith to reach others standing on the same edge. And as a prophetic declaration, comment 777 below to say, I will not miss my moment. I will guard my Tuesday. I will walk in divine timing. You are stepping into sacred alignment, where obedience becomes your weapon and silence your shield. Heaven has seen your restraint, and now favor begins to locate your name in unseen realms. What's coming will confirm everything you've endured: divine recompense, holy restoration, accelerated promise. Keep your eyes lifted, for Tuesday will prove that obedience unlocks destiny's hidden doors. The hidden Tuesday trap is subtle, almost invisible to the natural eye. It does not come dressed as evil. It wears the face of normal life routine, responsibility, logic. You will not recognize it through emotion. You must discern it through the Spirit. For this trap is designed not to destroy your faith outright, but to delay your destiny slowly, quietly, through a single misplaced choice. You have felt this before, those moments where everything seems calm, yet something inside feels slightly off, like a soft warning echoing in your spirit. That feeling is not paranoia, it is protection. The Holy Spirit gives His chosen ones early alerts, divine hesitations, spiritual pauses that seem unreasonable to the flesh. You must learn to honor those hesitations, for they are heaven's defense mechanisms built into your soul. The trap begins with distraction. You might wake up with clear purpose, but by noon, you're tangled in thoughts that drain your energy. A sudden message, a casual conversation, a memory that should have stayed buried, it all arrives with perfect timing, as if orchestrated. That is because it is. Darkness studies your patterns. It knows when you are closest to breakthrough, when your mind is tired, when your faith is stretched. That is when it sends the illusion of harmless opportunity. But here is what heaven wants you to understand: the enemy cannot steal what God has sealed. He can only convince you to hand it over. And the way he does that is through distraction disguised as duty. He'll whisper that you are neglecting something urgent when in reality, heaven is calling you to rest. He'll convince you that answering that one call, that one text, that one thought won't matter, yet that's the very moment you were supposed to remain still. You must remember, chosen one, divine timing requires divine discipline. The blessing God is preparing for December 30th is not fragile in power, but it is sensitive in timing. It must meet you in obedience, not exhaustion. The Tuesday ahead will not appear dangerous, it will appear ordinary. Yet the spirit inside you will stir, saying, not this time. Don't engage, don't explain. Just stay still. The trap thrives on reaction. The moment you react, you step into its rhythm. But when you pause, when you remain silent and rooted, its power breaks. You will know the trap because peace will suddenly lift. And when peace lifts, discernment must take over. Don't chase the feeling, anchor in truth. The Word of God declares in the book of Proverbs in chapter 4, verse 23, "Keep your heart with all diligence, for out of it spring the issues of life." Guarding your heart is not weakness, it is warfare. Every conversation you allow, every thought you entertain, every emotion you feed shapes your spiritual climate. The enemy wants to create storms inside you so that your discernment becomes clouded. But heaven says, be still and know. Stillness is not inactivity, it is spiritual intelligence. Many have lost their moment not because they sinned greatly, but because they acted too quickly. You will not repeat that mistake. You are being trained to sense the difference between urgent and important. Urgent demands attention. Important requires wisdom. When Tuesday comes, you will feel pressure to respond. But heaven's chosen do not move under pressure, they move under instruction. This hidden trap will try to engage your emotions. It might come as guilt, as curiosity, as someone needing closure. But the Spirit will whisper, "This is not your assignment. You owe no explanation when obedience is your answer." Silence will protect you more than defense ever could. And while the world may misinterpret your quietness, heaven will record it as faith. Every time you resist the urge to explain, you are choosing alignment over validation. That's how chosen ones stay untouchable, by refusing to negotiate their peace for approval. When you step into that Tuesday, remember this truth: not every open door is an invitation. Some are exits disguised as opportunity. Before you step through anything, test it by peace. If peace is not present, neither is God. The trap loses power the moment you see it. Recognition is victory. You have been through too much, endured too long, to fall for what once fooled you. This time, you will recognize the disguise. This time, you will choose silence over impulse. This time, you will remain aligned. Heaven will reward your stillness. While others are caught in loops of reaction, you will be found resting in divine rhythm. The day that once threatened to derail your purpose will instead reveal your growth. So, when that Tuesday dawns, walk with quiet authority. Let your discernment speak louder than your words. You will not be trapped. You will be trained. You will not be delayed. You will be distinguished. And when the dust settles, heaven will say, "They listened," and in that silence, heaven will seal what was promised. What once threatened to distract you will now confirm your discernment. Tuesday will expose deception and announce your readiness for greater things. When distraction masquerades as duty, it does not come to destroy, it comes to drain. It wears a noble mask, whispering, "You're just being responsible," while slowly pulling your spirit out of alignment. That is how many chosen ones fall, not by rebellion, but by misplaced obligation. The enemy knows you love deeply, that you care sincerely, so he uses that compassion against you. He sends needs that look urgent, requests that sound holy, opportunities that seem good. Yet not everything good is God. You must learn to discern the difference. Heaven will never call you to a task that costs you peace. Peace is not a luxury. It is the atmosphere of divine guidance. The moment peace departs, heaven is signaling, "This is not your assignment." There will come a moment this Tuesday when duty will knock. It may be someone needing help, a task that feels too important to ignore, or an emotion that pushes you to act. Yet deep within, you will feel the Spirit tugging softly. Wait. That pause is protection. Do not confuse guilt with guidance. Just because something screams urgent does not mean it is divine. Chosen one, you are not called to respond to every cry. Even Jesus withdrew from the crowds to pray, not because he didn't care, but because he knew that constant activity is the death of divine accuracy. The enemy wants to keep you busy so that you remain too distracted to hear the whisper of heaven. It was proclaimed in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 2, verse 4. No one serving as a soldier gets entangled in civilian affairs, but rather tries to please his commanding officer. This is your reminder you are a soldier in the army of heaven. You cannot afford to be entangled in unnecessary battles. The enemy wants to keep you solving problems that are not yours, so that you miss the assignment that is. When distraction comes disguised as duty, ask yourself one question: did God tell me to do this? If not, Let it go. This Tuesday will test your focus. The trap won't appear sinful, it will appear noble. But obedience is not measured by how busy you are. It's measured by how surrendered you are. You must learn to say no without guilt. You are not rejecting people, you are protecting purpose. Every yes outside of God's will costs you energy that heaven intended for your true calling. That is why discernment is your greatest defense. You must become comfortable disappointing others to avoid disappointing God. The Spirit of the Lord says, "Your compassion is sacred, but it must be guided. If you keep pouring into every empty vessel, soon your own light will flicker." Heaven is not asking you to be everywhere, it's asking you to be effective where you're sent. This Tuesday will reveal whether your kindness is spirit-led or emotionally driven. One will bring fruit, the other will bring fatigue. You are entering a season where every action counts. Nothing can be done out of impulse. Everything must be done out of instruction. Remember, this duty done outside of direction is still disobedience. The world may applaud your effort, but heaven measures obedience. So, when the urge comes to respond, to fix, to help, pause, ask, is this God? Or is this guilt? You'll find that heaven speaks in peace, not in pressure, not in chosen one. This message is not to shame you, but to sharpen you. You have been chosen not because you are perfect, but because you are teachable. Every time you pause and wait on divine instruction, you train your spirit to move with heaven's rhythm. Soon, you'll realize that your no in this season is not rejection, it's redirection. You are not closing doors. You are guarding destiny. Heaven is preparing something too great to risk on misplaced duty. So when that Tuesday comes, remember, peace will be your compass. If peace stays, proceed. If peace departs, stand still. The test is simple, but your obedience will unlock favor beyond imagination. Now, as a prophetic act of agreement, comment I hear. Let those 2 words be your declaration that you will no longer act out of pressure, but out of presence. By typing it, you align your spirit to heaven's command, affirming that you choose discernment over distraction. When you comment I hear, you are not just typing words, you are making a covenant of awareness. You are declaring before heaven and earth that you refuse to live by reaction. You choose to hear before you move, to pause before you speak, to discern before you decide. Those 2 words carry prophetic weight. They mean, I hear you, Lord, above the noise. They silence guilt, cancel confusion, and open the spiritual frequency of divine instruction. When you say I hear, heaven records it as obedience in motion, as a sign that you are aligning your ear with the voice of your Creator. So write it boldly. Let I hear echo in the comments as your act of surrender. May it stand as your witness that this Tuesday, you will listen before you act. There is a war of voices surrounding you, some loud, some subtle, and one sacred. It is not a war of flesh and blood, but a war for your attention. Every realm is speaking at once. Heaven whispers purpose. The world shouts pressure, and darkness manipulates confusion. The battlefield is not external, it's within your thoughts. And this Tuesday will expose which voice has truly shaped your decisions. From the moment you wake up, the voices begin. The voice of worry reminds you of everything that could go wrong. The voice of fear predicts failure before you even begin. The voice of guilt tries to pull you back into cycles you've already broken free from. But there's another voice, a gentler one that doesn't argue for attention. It speaks in peace. It says, "Be still. I am here." The voice of God never forces. It invites. It never rushes. It waits. And that's how you'll know it. The other voices will demand immediate response, but the voice of the Spirit will anchor you in calm authority. The enemy cannot imitate peace. He can fake excitement, urgency. even clarity but never peace. You must learn to recognize the tone of each voice. The voice of the enemy accuses, the voice of the world distracts, but the voice of God restores. If a thought leaves you restless and heavy, it's not from heaven. If it leaves you steady, courageous, and aligned, it's divine. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah, chapter 6, verse 16. Stand at the crossroads and look. Ask for the ancient paths. Ask where the good way is, and walk in it, and you will find rest for your souls. Every crossroads of your life is filled with sound. One direction calls with reason, the other with revelation. God's chosen ones are called to walk the ancient path, not the popular one. And this Tuesday, the crossroads will appear again. It may not look like a major decision, but it will reveal which voice holds your trust. You've been conditioned by the world to respond instantly, to solve everything quickly. But heaven does not rush miracles. Every blessing has a rhythm, and that rhythm is found only by listening. That's why silence is so powerful. It allows you to hear what panic hides. There will be moments when silence feels uncomfortable, when you'll want to fill it with answers or explanations. Resist that urge. The voice of God is clearest when everything else goes quiet. What feels like delay is often divine protection. Sometimes the Lord will even allow confusion to linger, not to punish you, but to train your hearing. He knows that discernment is not built in comfort, but in conflict. When all voices demand attention, you will learn to identify the one that leads you home. The war of voices intensifies when destiny is near. The closer you are to breakthrough, the louder the noise becomes. The enemy shouts because he knows he's losing ground. Heaven, on the other hand, whispers because it already has authority. The voice that carries true power never needs to raise itself. Chosen one, you must decide whose tone you trust. Will it be the voice that provokes fear or the one that produces peace? The difference between the two will define the outcome of your Tuesday and your year. When anxiety whispers you're behind, remember that God lives outside of time. You cannot be late to a plan authored by eternity. When guilt says, you failed before, remind it that grace rewrote your record. When distraction says, this needs your attention now, remember that heaven never requires panic. Every day is full of frequencies, but Tuesday carries a special tension. It will feel like multiple directions calling your name, but only one will carry peace. Trust the whisper, not the shout. God is not silent, He is selective. He speaks to those who listen beyond noise. Your stillness is not ignorance, it's alignment. When you choose silence, you become sensitive to divine signals. You begin to recognize heaven's voice not by its volume but by its vibration within your spirit. This is why solitude is sacred. It resets your frequency. When you withdraw from the chaos, your heart recalibrates to the tone of truth. You were not made to be ruled by noise. You were designed to echo heaven. So when the voices rise this Tuesday, remember this only one will lead you to peace, and that one is never in a hurry. The voice of God will always call you inward, toward calm, toward faith, toward rest. Every other sound will rush you outward into fear and confusion. This war of voices is not meant to break you, but to reveal your tuning. You are learning to hear beyond emotion, beyond logic, into divine resonance. And once you learn that sound, once your spirit recognizes it, you will never again be deceived by the counterfeit. Because the chosen ones know peace has a voice, and it always tells the truth. There are moments when obedience is not loud, it's quiet, personal, and almost invisible to others. You stand in that moment now, where heaven watches not what you promise, but how you respond when no one is watching. This section is about that unseen obedience, the small act that shifts great things. The subtle act of disobedience is rarely a rebellion. It's often hesitation. It's that gentle tug when you know what you're supposed to do, yet fear whispers. Maybe later? But heaven moves in immediacy. When the Spirit nudges, delay can feel safe, but it becomes disobedience wrapped in reasoning. You felt that nudge before the moment you were told to pray for someone, to forgive, to speak life instead of judgment, or to give even when you didn't have much. And in that instant, your spirit wrestled between comfort and calling. But the chosen ones are not defined by comfort, they are shaped by obedience. Heaven doesn't measure obedience by size, but by sincerity. One small yes whispered through trembling faith carries more power than 1,000 loud intentions. You might not think your action matters, but in heaven's eyes, every small act of obedience creates ripples in eternity. The apostle reminds us in his letter to the Corinthians, chapter 9, verse 7. Each of you should give what you have decided in your heart to give, not reluctantly or under compulsion. For God loves a cheerful giver. Giving is not just about money. It is about alignment. It is about saying, God, I trust you more than I trust my limits. Sometimes, heaven asks for something physical to unlock something spiritual. Not because God needs your resources, but because He desires your participation in His work. Imagine this: every word you hear here, every story shared, every moment that strengthens your faith, it all exists because someone, somewhere, obeyed the same gentle nudge you now feel. They gave when it didn't make sense. And because of that, you are hearing this message right now. Their obedience built the bridge your spirit is now walking across. That is how the kingdom works. Every seed multiplies. Every act of generosity becomes a whisper that strengthens another soul. When you give, you are not paying for something, you are planting into something. You are helping these messages of faith, healing, and hope reach those who are crying in silence, scrolling through despair, waiting for a word that will bring them back to light. Chosen one, if this space has become part of your spiritual journey, if these words have steadied your faith in stormy nights, then your heart already knows what to do. This is not about obligation. This is about continuation. Just as a flame keeps burning because someone adds oil, this mission continues when someone adds generosity. Tap the heart, share the light, and subscribe to stay connected. These small acts are like gentle ripples that turn into waves of hope. Every like is a spark. Every share is a lantern passed into another dark room. Every subscription is a hand saying, I'll keep the fire burning with you. And if you feel that inner peace, that quiet whisper to support, you may donate as one who pours oil into a lamp. Do it not out of pressure, but out of love, so the flame of these messages never dims. Your giving is not a condition. It's a continuation, a small ember keeping heaven's story alive on earth. Your yes today could be the reason someone else doesn't give up tomorrow. Heaven never forgets those who keep the flame alive. Each act of faith you make becomes a hidden melody in heaven's choir. No one may see it, but heaven hears it. Your obedience sings louder than any performance. It is worship in motion, unseen yet echoing through eternity's walls. The seed you plant today will bloom in places your feet may never walk. Every whisper of generosity becomes a bridge of mercy stretching toward another weary soul who thought they were forgotten until light reached them through you. When you choose to obey, you become a living altar where heaven meets earth. Your simple yes turns into sacred fire, warming hearts you may never meet, proving that divine love always multiplies through surrendered vessels. God never forgets the quiet givers, the ones who act in secret and whose left hand never tells the right. The angels write those names in golden ink, for heaven values unseen obedience more than loud applause. Every like, every share, every seed of support becomes a fingerprint of love upon the story God is telling through this generation. You are not just listening to the message, you are becoming part of the message itself. And one day, when you least expect it, that same generosity will return multiplied. What you pour out will circle back as strength, clarity, and divine favor, proving that heaven always honors the hearts that give freely. So keep the flame alive, chosen one. Let your giving, your faith, and your obedience become the oil that keeps heaven's light burning through you, reaching every heart still waiting for dawn. Every weight you have carried this year has not been wasted. Heaven has been building something inside you layer by layer, moment by moment, preparing you for what is about to unfold on December 30th. You may not see it yet, but every delay, every heartbreak, every closed door has been part of a divine architecture. Nothing was random. Everything was preparation. Sometimes the hardest seasons are not punishment, but training. Heaven stretches the chosen ones because what is coming requires a stronger vessel. You have been tempered like steel in fire, not to burn, but to be refined. The prayers that seemed unanswered were never ignored, they were stored. Heaven waits for the perfect alignment before release. The prophet wrote in the scroll of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not delay." You have been walking through a divine waiting room. It is where promises mature and character is tested. Waiting doesn't mean God is late. It means He is layering your foundation so that what He gives you next won't collapse under the weight of your calling. There were times you asked, "Why me?" But the real question heaven asks is, why not you? You were chosen for this path precisely because you can carry it. Others may have been faster, louder, or more visible, but none had your resilience. Heaven trusts you with waiting because you have proven that delay does not destroy your faith. Chosen one, do not despise the days of hiddenness. They are not wasted, they are sacred. In the silence, God has been weaving invisible threads of preparation through every area of your life. You have been learning how to trust without seeing, how to move without validation, how to believe when everything around you says otherwise. December 30th is not just another date, it's a divine checkpoint. Heaven has scheduled a release, but only those who have remained faithful through the waiting will recognize the door when it opens. The Tuesday that comes before it is not random. It's the final refinement before revelation. You may feel weary, like your faith is fading under the weight of uncertainty. But the truth is, what you call exhaustion, heaven calls transformation. You are shedding what cannot enter the next season. Every disappointment has stripped you of dependence on what is temporary, so that you can carry what is eternal. There's a reason the pressure increased lately. Diamonds form under pressure, and so do chosen ones. Heaven allowed the wait so you could develop the spiritual strength to stand under glory. The blessing you've been waiting for is heavy, but you have been strengthened to carry it. You are not behind, you are being built. Heaven's calendar does not follow the world's clock. While others may seem to run ahead, you are being established. Roots grow downward before trees grow upward. What looks like stillness is actually depth, so breathe. Let hope return to your spirit. You are closer than you think. You have not been forgotten, you have been prepared. Heaven never invests this much pain without a purpose. Soon, everything will begin to make sense. The long nights will align with answered prayers. The confusion will turn to clarity, and the heaviness will transform into divine strength. You will realize that heaven was never silent. It was strategizing. And when the moment comes, you won't need to chase it. It will find you. Blessings always locate the obedient. What belongs to you is already on its way, carried by the winds of divine timing. This is your confirmation. Do not give up before the release. You've come too far, cried too much, and endured too long to surrender now. The door is almost here, and heaven is about to reward every act of faith that felt unseen. If this word stirs something in your spirit, pause and acknowledge it. Feel that peace rising inside you that is heaven's confirmation that this message was meant for you. And as an act of prophetic agreement, comment 333 below. The number 333 carries divine symbolism. It represents the Trinity Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, moving in perfect unity to complete what they began in you. When you type 333, you are declaring that heaven's plan, heaven's timing, and heaven's promise are now working together on your behalf. It is your public yes to divine completion. So let the world rush ahead. You will wait with wisdom, because when your appointed time comes, it will not delay. When you comment 333, you are declaring, I trust the divine order of my life. It is not superstition, it's surrender, your way of saying heaven's timing is perfect. Each 333 typed becomes a spiritual echo, a signal to the unseen that you are aligned, attentive, and ready. It tells heaven, I'm in agreement, complete what you began. There are moments when the past returns, not to comfort you, but to test what you've healed. The Tuesday ahead will bring such a moment. It will not look like a battle, it will look like familiarity. People, patterns, or habits that once held you will appear again, dressed in nostalgia, disguised as harmless conversation or curiosity. Yet heaven whispers, recognize the disguise. The enemy rarely attacks with new tricks. He recycles what used to work. He studies your old wounds, your unhealed attachments, the faces that once made you question your worth. And when you're closest to destiny, he sends them again, not to bless, but to block. His goal is not always destruction, sometimes it's distraction, the subtle redirection that steals your focus from what's ahead. You will notice this because your spirit will feel it before your mind does. That unease in your chest, that sudden heaviness when a name reappears, that pull towards something you already overcame, those are signals. Heaven is alerting you. You are not being punished, you are being proved faithful, proved. Every chosen one must face the disguised enemy before elevation. Before David became king, he faced Goliath. Before Jesus stepped into glory, he faced betrayal. Before your release, you must face the familiar with new strength. The test is not whether the past will appear, it's whether you will still respond as you once did. The ancient words recorded in Romans chapter 6, verse 14. Declare, for sin shall no longer be your master, because you are not under the law but under grace. Grace means that what once held you cannot hold you again unless you give it permission. Grace doesn't erase the presence of temptation. It gives you the authority to walk past it without bondage. That is what this Tuesday is about, authority. Heaven will allow the familiar to approach, not to trap you, but to prove that you have truly outgrown it. There will be invitations back to old conversations, old habits, old environments that once made you feel seen but secretly drained you. You might even feel the urge to respond, to explain, to just check in. But in this season, silence will speak louder than any closure. You don't need to revisit what God already resolved. The ones who left were necessary. The doors that closed were protection, not punishment. If you reopen what heaven has sealed, you step out of divine alignment and back into emotional chaos. Don't confuse peace with loneliness. What feels empty now is actually sacred space being prepared for what's next. The enemy will always try to lure you back through emotional memory. He will whisper, "It wasn't that bad," or "Maybe this time will be different." But heaven says, "You already learned this lesson. Don't repeat the class." Chosen one, this test is not about others, it's about you. God is revealing how much you've grown. The things that once triggered you will no longer move you. The words that once wounded will no longer pierce. That's what growth feels like, quiet stability in the face of old storms. You are no longer who you were when you first fell into those cycles. Heaven has rewired your discernment, refined your desires, and strengthened your standards. The very things that once attracted you now appear small because your spirit has expanded. This is divine maturity, and while the world may call it cold, heaven calls it clarity. You are learning that not everyone can go where you are going. You are not rejecting people, you are protecting purpose. The next level of your calling requires a purity of focus, a sensitivity to the spirit that cannot be clouded by emotional noise. When the disguised enemies come this Tuesday, see them for what they are: mirrors of your former self, opportunities to prove your transformation. The conversation you don't entertain, the temptation you don't touch, the invitation you quietly decline, each one is a victory in heaven's sight. You may not receive applause for your restraint, but heaven records it. Angels take note when a chosen one resists repeating cycles. You are not losing anything by walking away. You are securing everything that's meant to stay. So when the familiar approaches, breathe. Recognize the disguise, bless what's behind you, and walk forward. The weight of this season demands separation, and every act of discipline now will prepare you for acceleration later. Do not be surprised if the very thing you prayed to be free from tries to reappear. It's confirmation that your freedom is real. Chains only rattle when they've been broken. You are not being tempted to fall. You are being trusted to stand. The battlefield is not between you and your past, it's between your old identity and your new authority. This time, you will not flinch. This time, you will recognize that what once looked like love was actually delay. And by choosing silence over reaction, peace over nostalgia, destiny over distraction, you will walk into December 30th lighter, wiser, and ready. Heaven will honor your restraint. What you refuse to reopen, God will replace with something eternal. What you walk away from in strength, heaven will return in glory. The disguise may look familiar, but you are not. There comes a point in every chosen one's journey when mercy speaks one last time, not out of anger, but out of deep love. This section is that whisper. Mercy's final reminder does not shout. It moves through quiet conviction, calling you to choose obedience before opportunity. You can almost feel it when mercy draws near. It feels like stillness, like the moment before dawn breaks. It's when heaven pauses your schedule, softens your heart, and gives you one more chance to align. Not because you failed, but because God refuses to let your destiny be stolen by distraction. Mercy's voice is never harsh. It doesn't come to condemn you for past mistakes. It comes to redirect you before the next one. It's that sudden awareness that says, don't do that again, don't go there, don't say that. It comes gently, but its timing is divine. Every reminder from heaven is a rescue disguised as reflection. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in Deuteronomy, chapter 30, verse 19. I have set before you life and death, blessings and curses. Now choose life, so that you and your children may live. That is the heart of mercy choice. You are never forced. only invited. Even when you drift, heaven still extends its hand, saying, "Choose life again." The Tuesday that approaches will be one such invitation. It will not come with thunder or signs. It will come quietly through the nudge of conscience, through a pause that feels sacred. Mercy has been with you all along, carrying you through mistakes that could have destroyed you. You should have fallen apart long ago, but mercy stood in the gap. Every time you almost gave up, mercy whispered, "Not yet." Every time you almost chose the wrong path, mercy delayed your downfall until wisdom could catch up. That's why you're still here, not luck, not chance, but mercy. The danger now is not in rebellion, but in routine. Familiarity can make divine things feel common. You've grown used to grace, so you forget how costly it is. But mercy's reminder comes to awaken reverence again, to remind you that the breath in your lungs is not a guarantee. It's a gift. This is why heaven sometimes allows discomfort before promotion. Pain awakens awareness. It pulls you back to the place of dependence. When everything is easy, the heart tends to wander. But when the storm hits, you remember who calms the sea. Mercy allows moments of pressure not to harm you, but to realign your attention toward purpose. Chosen one, this Tuesday will test not your strength but your sensitivity. The Spirit will whisper when to speak, when to pause, when to walk away. You won't have time to analyze, only to obey. And in that obedience, mercy will do its work. There's something sacred about those moments when you almost make a mistake. But a holy hesitation stops you. That's not luck, that's heaven intervening. You may never know what disaster you avoided by obeying a single whisper. But mercy knows, and it records your obedience as worship. Mercy is not weak, it is fierce. It fights for your future when you are too tired to fight for yourself. It stands between you and destruction, saying, "You will not touch them." It doesn't erase consequences, but it reduces their impact. It shapes every trial to teach, not to tear. Right now, heaven is slowing you down because the next step matters. The Tuesday ahead carries significance you may not understand until later. But mercy is already there, guarding your decisions before you even make them. This season is sacred ground. The silence, the restlessness, the inner tug, it's all heaven speaking. Don't rush through it. Don't drown it in noise. Let mercy teach you how to move slowly, deliberately, intentionally. The truth is, mercy doesn't just forgive, it repositions. It takes what should have been lost and turns it into testimony. What should have ended you becomes evidence of divine endurance. And when you look back, you'll realize that mercy wasn't a one-time gift. It was a lifelong companion. It walked with you through mistakes, through heartbreak, through seasons where you didn't even want to pray. It carried you here so that when the time came to choose again, you would recognize its voice. This Tuesday, when you feel the hesitation rise, honor it. That's mercy's final reminder, protecting what God is preparing. Every pause, every restraint, every quiet no will become the reason your December 30th unfolds in fullness. Mercy will not shout, it will whisper. But those who listen will never miss their moment. You are still here because mercy refused to let you go. And now, mercy asks only one thing: don't take grace for granted. Cherish it, honor it, let it change you before it has to chase you. When mercy speaks this time, listen quickly. For heaven's silence is not rejection, it's waiting to see if you will act on what you already know. There are unseen battles unfolding around you. Battles not fought with hands, but with choices. The moment you wake, the realms begin to collide, light pressing forward, darkness resisting, heaven declaring, "Stand firm." This is the collision of realms. and you are standing right in the center of it. It's not an abstract idea, it's a spiritual reality. Every thought you entertain, every reaction you release that becomes a vote for one kingdom or another. Heaven watches your restraint as victory, hell counts your distraction as success. The war is not about possession, it's about permission. Whose influence will you yield to this Tuesday? You have felt it already, the restlessness, the strange tension in the air, the sense that something unseen is watching your decisions. That is because the realm around you is sensitive to obedience. Angels move when you obey. Demons wait when you hesitate. Your silence can summon peace, and your reaction can invite warfare. This Tuesday will not be chaotic in the natural world, but in the unseen. It will be loud. Every choice you make will echo in eternity. That's why discernment matters more than emotion. Heaven is not asking you to fight, it's asking you to stand still and stay aligned. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 18, verse 18, "Whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven." The war of realms is not fought by might, but by agreement. When your spirit aligns with heaven, the darkness loses its legal ground. That is why obedience is not just personal, it is territorial. Your submission to God affects everything connected to you, your home, your family, your atmosphere. There will be moments on Tuesday when the pressure will rise not to destroy you, but to reveal your authority. You may feel irritation, sudden fear, or confusion trying to cloud your mind. When that happens, remember the noise around you is proof that something powerful is shifting. Heaven never calls attention to a battle unless victory is near. The realm of darkness would not fight this hard if it weren't about to lose ground. So stand firm. Speak peace where fear tries to whisper chaos. Breathe deeply and say, "I am covered." That single declaration sends shockwaves through the unseen. You are not helpless in this war. You are heaven's weapon. Every word you speak in faith releases light into the atmosphere. Every time you resist reacting in anger, an angel moves. Every act of patience confuses darkness because it cannot comprehend peace. The reason you've been feeling pressure lately is because heaven has been expanding your authority. You are no longer a bystander. You are a gatekeeper. What you allow remains. What you reject retreats. Your very presence changes spiritual climates. Chosen one, your obedience has already frustrated the enemy. That's why the opposition increased. You're not under attack because you're weak. You're under attack because you're effective. Darkness is afraid of what will happen when you finally realize your power. So when the collision comes, don't panic. Don't argue with it. Stand firm in stillness. Your calm is your weapon. Your peace is your armor. The realm of light moves best through those who trust silently. Heaven's army surrounds you even now. Angels stand where your strength ends, and when you obey, they advance. When you hesitate, they hold position. That's how serious your choices are. You are not fighting for victory, you are enforcing one already won. And when Tuesday passes, you'll feel the shift. The weight will lift, the noise will fade, and clarity will return. You'll know the battle was real, but victory was sealed long before it began. If your spirit feels the truth of these words, let your response be simple but full of faith. Comment, "I stand." Those two words are not just a statement, they are a declaration to both realms. When you write them, you mark your territory in the spirit, telling heaven, "I'm aligned," and telling darkness, "I'm unshakable." Your stand today ensures peace tomorrow. And as you stand, remember, peace is not the absence of war, it's the presence of victory. When you comment, "I stand," you're not merely responding to a message, you're stepping into a moment of spiritual alignment. You are telling heaven, "I understand my position. I choose faith over fear." Those two words become a spiritual stance, a declaration that you refuse to bow to confusion or compromise. Each time you say, "I stand," it resonates beyond the screen. Angels recognize it as consent for divine movement in your life. It means you will not collapse under pressure, that you are anchoring your identity in peace rather than panic. Heaven reads your stillness as strength and your confession as covenant. So type it with conviction. Let it echo through both realms. I stand steady, covered, chosen. And in that act, you mark the ground beneath your feet as holy. What shakes others will not shake you, for you are rooted in divine authority. The prophetic countdown has already begun. Each sunrise moves you closer to December 30th, and heaven is measuring not your speed, but your surrender. The winds of destiny are shifting, carrying whispers that say, "It's time." Yet before the release, heaven asked for partnership not through striving, but through willing hearts. Prophecy is not magic, it's movement. God speaks a promise, but it manifests when His chosen ones respond. Every obedient heart becomes part of the unfolding. That is why this season feels heavier. Heaven is preparing to pour, and it seeks those ready to receive and release at the same time. You can feel it in the air, the tension between waiting and becoming. Heaven's clock is striking near, and everything around you is aligning. This countdown is not meant to pressure you, it's meant to prepare you. What you do now determines the capacity you'll have when the doors finally open. The Apostle reminds us in his second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 9, verse 6. Whoever sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, and whoever sows generously will also reap generously. Chosen one, the due season is approaching, but faith must be sustained. Heaven is asking you to remain a vessel, steady, open, generous, not just in giving resources, but in giving light. When you share truth, you scatter seeds into unseen soil. When you speak encouragement, you water someone else's dry ground. Every good thing you do is part of heaven's countdown, and this is where partnership becomes sacred. You have received from this flow words that strengthened you, moments that pulled you out of despair, whispers that reminded you who you are. Now heaven gently asks you to keep the current moving. Like this message so that the light reaches further. Every click is like lighting another candle. Share it, and watch how it becomes a lantern in someone's midnight. When you subscribe, you're not just following a voice, you're joining a movement of chosen ones awakening around the world. Each subscription is like placing another brick in the temple of encouragement heaven is building through these words. And if your heart feels peace, if gratitude stirs quietly as you listen, then perhaps heaven is nudging you to sow a seed of support, of generosity, of trust. Giving is not about money, it's about meaning. It's like planting a tree under whose shade others will rest. You may never meet them, but heaven will let their healing carry your name. You are not being asked out of demand. You are being invited out of destiny. Every act of kindness, every seed of generosity becomes oil in the lamp of this ministry, keeping the flame alive so others may find light in their own darkness. Imagine this somewhere tonight. Someone will scroll across this message at their breaking point, and your obedience may be the reason it reaches them. That is what partnership looks like in heaven's eyes. It's not transactional, it's transformational. You give not because you are told to, but because your spirit recognizes. This soil is alive, so breathe. And let your giving, whatever form it takes, be peaceful, not pressured. It could be a like, a share, a prayer, a donation. or even just a whispered amen, all are precious in heaven's economy. What matters is the heart behind the act. You've come too far to watch the countdown pass without participation. Heaven is looking for builders, those who will keep the light burning for others while they wait for their own dawn. And that's what you've become, a torchbearer in the prophetic countdown. As December 30th draws near, remember this: every kind act, every moment of generosity, every time you amplify this message, you are helping build the bridge that connects promise to manifestation. You are not giving away, you are giving forward. You are investing in eternity disguised as now. So, if this word has strengthened you, take a moment of quiet reflection. Ask the Spirit how you can keep this light flowing, and whatever your answer is, let it come from peace. Because the most beautiful giving is never forced. It's inspired. You are part of something divine, something bigger than algorithms, bigger than screens, bigger than this moment. Heaven writes the names of those who helped carry light when others only watched. Be one of them, not out of duty, but out of love. This countdown is not just heaven moving toward you, it's heaven moving through you. Your obedience, your faith, your generosity, they become the rhythm of divine timing. So as the clock of destiny ticks closer to December 30th, remember this: you are not waiting idly. You are building, shaping, giving, and glowing. You are one of the chosen who keeps the fire alive. Every spark of your kindness becomes a note in heaven's song, echoing across unseen skies. You are not just part of the countdown, you are the melody that keeps time moving forward. When you give, you mirror the Creator pouring light into the world, not from abundance, but from love. Every act of generosity declares, I trust the timing. I trust the purpose. There is a gate that few notice until it closes, the gate of delay. It does not swing loudly, it moves silently, almost imperceptibly. When a moment of hesitation becomes a missed opportunity. This is the gate heaven wants you to see clearly now. Because your awareness determines your access. The gate of delay doesn't open through rebellion, it opens through small compromises. A distracted thought, an unnecessary argument, a step taken out of fear rather than faith. These things build slowly, forming invisible walls between you and what God has prepared. Heaven is not withholding your promise, it is waiting for your full alignment to reopen the way. Delay is not denial, but it can become it if you stay unaware. Every divine door has timing. And the timing is not controlled by the clock, it's controlled by obedience. When God moves, He looks for readiness, not desperation. And readiness is revealed through discipline. According to what is revealed in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 1. To everything there is a season, and a time for every purpose under heaven. This verse is more than poetic truth. It's the rhythm of heaven itself. Every purpose, every promise, every season moves like waves meant to be caught, not chased. You can't force waves, you learn their timing, and when the current comes, you move with it. But if you're distracted or fearful, you miss it, and that's how delay happens. God's plan never fails, but our attention sometimes does. The enemy can't steal what's yours, but he can make you so busy or so doubtful that you let the moment pass. That's why this Tuesday carries such importance. It's not another day, it's another wave, and heaven wants you awake enough to catch it. Think of delay like mist. It doesn't appear suddenly. It gathers slowly until vision blurs. One careless decision, one unguarded reaction, one ignored whisper from the Spirit, and suddenly the road that was once clear feels confusing. You begin to doubt yourself, to question if God still remembers, but He does. The confusion is not His doing, it's the fog of— Heaven will never force your hand, it will remind you. Every small nudge in your spirit, every moment of restlessness or sudden conviction is the hand of God closing the gate before delay can take root. Listen when you feel the warning. It's not fear. It's love protecting your timeline. Delay can also appear as comfort. Sometimes the enemy keeps you still, not through failure, but through satisfaction. You settle because it's easier than stretching. You stop seeking because what you have feels good enough. But the gate of delay swings quietly when you stop growing. The moment you choose comfort over calling, you choose delay over destiny. The chosen ones are never meant to stay in comfort zones. Every true believer walks with tension, the ache between promise and fulfillment, between peace and progress. Heaven allows that tension to keep your spirit awake. It's the spiritual gravity that keeps you moving toward divine purpose. This is why you've been feeling the pull to let go of certain things lately, not because they're evil, but because they no longer fit your next season. Some relationships, routines, or even mindsets were divine once, but have now become delay. Heaven removes what no longer carries purpose so you can travel lighter. The gate of delay will tempt you to hold on. It will whisper, "Wait a little longer." Or, "It's not that serious." But heaven says, "Now." The longer you linger where God is no longer moving, the heavier your spirit becomes. The Tuesday ahead will test this, whether you can obey instantly, not emotionally. Instant obedience is not about impulse, it's about trust. It's the kind of faith that doesn't need details to move. It says, "If God said go, I go." That's the posture that keeps the gate of delay locked forever. Every time you choose obedience over hesitation, time bends in your favor. What others lose through delay, you redeem through discipline. Heaven multiplies moments for those who move when called. So if the next few days feel heavy, if decisions seem uncertain, pause and ask, is this obedience or avoidance? That question alone will reveal which side of the gate you stand on. The truth is, delay doesn't begin outside, it begins within. It's when the heart says, "Not yet," to something God has already blessed. But once you decide to move, heaven responds instantly. The atmosphere shifts, the fog clears, and time aligns again. You've been trained for this. Every lesson, every quiet season, every moment of waiting has prepared you to recognize divine timing. You are not behind. You are being summoned forward. Do not let fear of getting it wrong keep you from stepping. The only wrong move now is no move at all. The gate of delay stands open only for the hesitant, but for the obedient, it closes behind them forever. So walk forward steady, calm, certain the path is clear, the moment is now, and heaven is already moving with you. There comes a moment when testing meets revelation, when all the whispers, warnings, and waiting suddenly converge into one sacred day. That moment is the Tuesday of testing. It will not announce itself with thunder. It will come disguised as ordinary hours. Yet heaven will be watching closely, measuring not your strength, but your sensitivity. You will feel it before you see it. The atmosphere around you may feel heavier than usual, the noise of the world louder, and your own thoughts uncertain. That's because this Tuesday carries spiritual weight. Heaven has already positioned everything: your path, your protection, your peace. But what happens next depends on your posture. This will not be a test of ability. It will be a test of attention. The enemy will not tempt you with something ugly. He will offer something almost right. That's where many fall, not because they chase evil, but because they settle for almost divine. You must recognize the counterfeit before it costs you the genuine. You'll notice subtle things. A text that pulls your emotions backward. A task that feels urgent but carries no peace. a person who suddenly reappears just to check in. These are not coincidences, they are coordinates of distraction. Heaven will give you one clear instruction: pause before you act. The voice of God is still and steady. The voice of temptation is hurried and loud. You'll know which one is speaking by how it makes you feel. Heaven brings peace even when it challenges you. The enemy brings pressure, even when it flatters you. The Spirit speaks through the writings of the Apostle James. Chapter 1, verse 12. Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love him. This is what your Tuesday represents: a proving ground for your crown. The choices you make in stillness will echo in destiny. Heaven is not grading perfection but obedience. If you pause, pray, and follow peace, you will pass. You are not being tested to fail, you are being trusted to lead. Heaven only tests those it intends to promote. The weight you feel is evidence of impending release. The teacher always becomes silent during the exam, not because he's absent, but because he already gave the answers. Chosen one, when the silence comes, don't panic. Remember what you learned in the wilderness. Recall the peace that carried you through previous storms. Heaven does not change its voice. The test is always the same: will you listen even when it feels quiet? The enemy fears one thing more than prayer obedience. He knows that when you follow heaven's timing, you dismantle his strategy. So he will throw noise your way: people, tasks, fears, just to make you react. But this time, you won't. This time, you will recognize the test. You may not even realize when you pass it. It will happen in one small decision: a word you didn't say, a message you didn't send, a step you didn't take, and heaven will exhale. They're ready. Then everything will begin to shift. Delays will break. Closed doors will open. Hidden blessings will start moving toward you because heaven rewards restraint. This Tuesday is not an obstacle, it's a mirror. It reflects what's inside you now. The old you chased validation, the new you cherishes peace. The old you explained, the new you simply obeys. Heaven is not testing your perfection, it is testing your perception. Can you see the divine difference between good and God? That single distinction will define your elevation. So when the test arrives, breathe. Let stillness be your strength. Remember, the quieter your response, the louder heaven moves. If this message stirs something inside you, if you can feel that quiet confirmation that says, "This is my test," then let your spirit respond in faith. Comment 545 below. The number 545 represents divine change and grace in transition. It means you are stepping into a season where everything that once confused you will begin to make sense. By typing 555, you are declaring, "I embrace the shift. I welcome the test as the path to my transformation." Your Tuesday of testing will not break you, it will crown you. When you comment 555, you're not just writing numbers, you're declaring a shift. It's a spiritual code between your heart and heaven that says, "I'm ready for what's next." Those digits carry the vibration of movement and mercy intertwining. Every 555 you release is like unlocking a door that once felt sealed. It signals that you are no longer afraid of change. You are aligned with it. Grace will walk beside you as transformation unfolds. Heaven reads that number as surrender, as courage to evolve under divine order. So type it with intention. Let 555 stand as your echo through eternity, a declaration that you will not resist what God is arranging. You trust the timing. You welcome the refining. And through this test, you will emerge refined, radiant, and ready for the release. There is a power in silence that few understand. The world teaches you to prove, to explain, to defend, but heaven teaches you to remain still. When silence speaks louder than action, it becomes a weapon sharper than any word. This is the lesson heaven wants to engrave into your spirit now, because in the days ahead, stillness will become your greatest strength. You are entering a season where your silence will confuse many. People will misunderstand it, thinking it means indifference, pride, or distance. But in truth, it is none of those things. Your silence is spiritual warfare, a refusal to let the noise of others dictate the rhythm of your soul. It is the language of maturity. The Word of God declares in the book of Psalms, chapter 46, verse 10, "Be still, and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth." This verse is not an invitation to inactivity. It is a command to confidence. To be still is not to freeze in fear, but to stand in faith. It is to stop trying to control what only heaven can orchestrate. It is the moment you let go of your need to explain and simply let God be seen through your peace. Silence is not emptiness, it is full of sound in the spirit. When you choose not to speak in anger, heaven hears it as worship. When you refuse to argue your innocence, heaven records it as wisdom. Silence is the pause that allows divine justice to move unhindered. There will come a time, perhaps this Tuesday, when your restraint will be tested. Someone may provoke you, question your motives, or attempt to pull you back into old conversations. You'll feel the impulse to respond, to defend your name, to set the record straight. But heaven will whisper, "Don't." Because the moment you explain what God is already vindicating, you step out of alignment. You do not owe explanations to those committed to misunderstanding you. Let your fruit speak where your words once did. Growth doesn't need to announce itself. It simply appears in time. There is dignity in quiet endurance. Every moment you hold your peace, heaven works on your behalf. The angels are not sent to those who shout the loudest, but to those who trust the deepest. The more silent you become in your trials, the more violently heaven moves in your favor. Think of Jesus before his accusers. He could have silenced them with one word, but he chose silence, because silence carries authority. The lion doesn't need to roar to prove it's a lion. Its presence is enough. Likewise, your peace will roar where your words never could. You are learning to let God finish your sentences. That is what maturity in the spirit looks like, trusting that your peace will speak for you long after the noise fades. The world sees silence as weakness, but in heaven's language, it means mastery. Sometimes silence is mercy. It protects others from hearing what your pain wants to say. Sometimes, it's obedience, God silencing your response so he can speak through outcome, not argument. And sometimes, silence is separation, a quiet distance that allows you to heal without distraction. Chosen one, the next time you are misunderstood, remember this truth: God never requires you to be loud to be heard. The creator of thunder also whispers through the wind. His strength is proven in restraint. Stillness is not stagnation, it's strategy. You are not frozen, you are focused. Every pause you take allows heaven to reposition the battlefield in your favor. The less you speak, the more clearly heaven can. And as you hold your silence, something shifts within. You begin to hear God's voice more distinctly. You begin to realize that silence is not the absence of sound, it's the presence of clarity. In quietness, your discernment sharpens. Your emotions calm. Your spirit recenters. There is a peace that only silence can reveal, the peace that says, even if they don't understand, God does. You don't need to convince anyone of what's divine. What comes from heaven always proves itself in time. So rest in that knowing. Your silence today is not weakness, it's prophecy. It declares that you are no longer living by reaction, but by revelation. And in that stillness, heaven finds room to move. You have learned the secret of spiritual authority, that the most powerful sound in warfare is sometimes the sound of nothing. And when you master that, you will find yourself untouchable, not because the attacks stop, but because they no longer shake what's anchored in peace. Your calm will become the mirror through which others see God. They will wonder how you stand so still while storms rage, never realizing that your silence is anchored in eternal confidence. Peace will wrap around you like armor, invisible yet unbreakable. Every unspoken word will echo louder in heaven than 1,000 defenses on earth. Your stillness will tell the story of victory fulfilled. When the silence ends, the unfolding begins. Heaven never leaves a story unfinished. What follows obedience is revelation, the moment when everything hidden becomes visible, when what once felt delayed suddenly makes sense. This is the unfolding aftermath, where divine cause meets visible effect. You have walked through fire and still chosen faith. You have endured silence, temptation, testing, and waiting. Now heaven begins to turn the page. The air shifts, the weight changes, and everything that once seemed impossible begins to take shape around you. The pieces that felt random are aligning with breathtaking precision. This is what happens after the storm, the unveiling of why it all had to happen that way. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms. Chapter 30, verse 5. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. That verse is not poetic comfort, it is spiritual law. Every night of sorrow carries within it the seed of mourning. Every tear that fell in secret has watered the soil of your next season. Heaven wastes nothing, not your pain, not your confusion, not your waiting. What felt like delay was actually design. The aftermath of obedience is not always instant reward. Sometimes, it's quiet transformation. The change doesn't always shout. It hums beneath the surface, rearranging your perspective before it rearranges your circumstances. God always restores inwardly before he reveals outwardly. When morning finally comes, it rarely looks like you imagined. The blessings appear differently, not as grand displays of success, but as deep peace, unexpected clarity, and divine connections. The doors that open will not need you to push. They will swing freely because you waited correctly. Heaven moves subtly, and its aftermath carries elegance. You'll look back and realize that the very things that once terrified you were training tools. The rejections were redirections. The endings were entrances. The silence was strategy. What you thought was lost was being repurposed. Heaven was not taking, it was trading. Chosen one, as the aftermath unfolds, humility must remain your companion. After every storm, there is calm, but also vulnerability. When blessings arrive, pride lurks at the edge, whispering, "You did this, but you'll know better." You'll remember the nights of wrestling, the days of waiting, and you'll say, "It was mercy." Gratitude will become your rhythm. It will spill out in small ways: how you speak, how you love, how you listen. Gratitude keeps the gates of blessing open. In the aftermath, praise becomes protection. The enemy cannot touch what stays thankful. You may notice how people who once overlooked you will suddenly reach out again. Situations that once resisted will now welcome you. Don't let bitterness speak in those moments. Forgive freely, love quietly, and let grace be your response. The aftermath is not a stage for revenge, it's a platform for revelation. There will also be peace where there once was anxiety. The things that used to drain you will no longer move you. You will begin to see through the illusions that once held your emotions hostage. That's the fruit of discernment. You no longer fight shadows because you've met the light. Heaven is careful in how it unfolds your blessings. It doesn't reveal everything at once, because what comes too quickly can become too heavy. God increases your capacity before He increases your visibility. This is why the aftermath feels slow. It's mercy protecting momentum. As the aftermath continues, you'll notice the difference between blessings and distractions more clearly. Blessings bring peace. Distractions bring pressure. Blessings align. Distractions scatter. You won't need to analyze, you'll simply know. And then, quietly, heaven will begin to reward your restraint. Opportunities will find you. People will honor you without knowing why. Doors that others knocked on will open effortlessly for you. That's the signature of divine timing. It doesn't require force, only faith. You are stepping into the part of the story where beauty rises from ashes. The same place that once broke you will become the evidence of your breakthrough. Others will see your peace and not understand it, but heaven will smile knowing how much it cost to carry. This aftermath is sacred. Don't rush it. Let it breathe. Let heaven unfold every detail at its own pace. The divine is not in a hurry. It is perfecting every line of your story. So rest. You are not losing time. You are walking into fulfilled time. What's coming is not payback. It's promise. And it's already written with your name. When heaven finishes unfolding, you will stand not as a survivor, but as a sign, a living testimony that faith, silence, and obedience are never wasted. The aftermath of obedience is always abundance, and it begins now. You will breathe differently in this new light, slowly, deeply, freely. The air that once felt heavy will now taste like grace. Heaven's peace will settle where chaos once lived. Every sunrise will remind you that restoration is real. What was shattered is now whole. What was delayed is now delivered. The aftermath has become your awakening. There is a moment after the unfolding where heaven begins to separate the watchers from the doers, the hearers from the carriers, the crowned remnant. You are among them. This section is not about recognition from people. It's about the coronation of obedience. Heaven does not crown the popular, it crowns the faithful. You may not have realized it yet, but the past seasons have been your refining fire, shaping you into one who can carry glory without pride. The crown heaven gives is not made of gold, it is made of endurance, humility, and unwavering faith. You have endured enough to be trusted with influence. And influence in heaven's kingdom doesn't mean visibility, it means responsibility. The Apostle Paul reminds us in his letter to Timothy, chapter 4, verse 8. Now there is in store for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award to me on that day, and not only to me, but also to all who have longed for his appearing. This is not a future promise alone, it is a present invitation. Heaven crowns those who long for his presence more than for outcomes, those who choose purity over platform and obedience over applause. That is the true remnant few, hidden, yet radiant. You have carried light when no one saw, prayed when no one noticed, and remained faithful when no one thanked you. That is what qualifies you. Heaven saw it all, the quiet yes, the unseen generosity, the silent battles, and now whispers. It's time. As the crowned remnant rises, their purpose is not to shine for themselves, but to reflect. Light is meant to be shared. You carry a flame that has survived storms. Now heaven asks you to pass it on, not by force, but through grace. If this word has stirred something holy inside you, let your response flow gently. Like this message, as though placing a candle upon heaven's altar, each one lit becomes another glow in the great field of faith. If it brought peace, share it, let it travel like a lantern carried across dark roads. guiding someone you may never meet but whom heaven loves deeply. And if this space feels like a refuge for your soul, subscribe to stay connected, not to a page, but to a current of light that keeps truth moving across hearts. Each soul that joins becomes another star in the constellation of the chosen. Should gratitude bloom in you, give if you feel led quietly, freely. Think of it as pouring oil into a lamp you believe must never fade. Every drop of generosity becomes light that travels farther than sight can follow. And if your spirit feels full enough to speak, then leave a comment below. Write your amen, your reflection, or simply a word of gratitude. It will rise like incense before heaven. Every word written in sincerity becomes part of the song this message sings across souls. For you are not only receiving light, you are helping it multiply. Every action, every whisper of encouragement, every shared spark becomes a bridge for others to cross from shadow into dawn. That is what the crowned remnant does. They keep the flame alive not by command but by choice. And heaven smiles on those who give, share, comment, or simply keep the light burning in silence. Your crown is invisible, but its glow tells the story of your faith. And in that glow, heaven finds joy. Every act of light you release, no matter how small, becomes part of an unseen constellation. Somewhere, a wandering soul looks up, sees your glow, and realizes that hope has not gone out. You have become a silent lighthouse on heaven's shore. Heaven counts every ripple, the click of a heart, the quiet comment, the whispered prayer. They all rise together like rain returning to the sky. What you give never disappears. It transforms into healing for someone else's midnight. Your generosity, your presence here is not forgotten. Angels write it into the eternal archive of kindness. Each spark of faith you offer expands eternity's horizon, turning ordinary moments into sacred echoes of love. When you give, you are really returning what was always divine. God lends light to his children so they can scatter it freely. Every spark sent forward becomes heaven's handwriting across the darkness. One day you will look back and see how every gesture mattered: the light you shared, the seed you sowed, the word you spoke. They formed the bridge others walked across toward redemption and rest. Keep shining quietly, chosen one. You are proof that faith can glow without noise, that kindness can roar without words. Every breath of grace from you reshapes the atmosphere around your life. And when eternity unfolds, heaven will replay these moments, the comments, the gifts, the heartbeats of faith, and say, "This was how the flame stayed alive." You will realize you were always part of something eternal. So keep the flame alive within you, quietly and faithfully. For every pulse of love you release today will return tomorrow as light guiding others home to grace. December 30th. The day of release. Heaven has been building toward this chrbut. Every warning, every test, every pause was never random. It was rhythm. And now that rhythm has reached its crescendo, what felt like waiting was actually synchronization. Heaven aligning your story with its appointed time. There is a deep stillness in divine timing, a calm before manifestation. The world often mistakes it for inactivity, but heaven calls it readiness. The day of release doesn't always arrive with explosions of emotion. Sometimes it slips in quietly, carried on a breeze of peace that you can feel but not explain. You'll know it's here when you wake up and something in the air feels different. The heaviness that lingered suddenly lifts. The noise within you quiets. You sense that unseen doors have already opened, even before anything in the natural world changes. That is how heaven moves silently, suddenly, surely. The ancient words in the book of Isaiah, chapter 60, verse 22. Declare when the time is right, I, the Lord, will make it happen. Those words are now the banner over your life. Everything that was delayed, everything that was locked behind obedience, begins to move in sequence. Heaven honors what earth could not understand. This is not reward for effort, it is the harvest of alignment. The day of release is not just about receiving, it's about recognition. You will begin to see what was hidden in plain sight. You'll realize that while you were waiting for one door to open, God was quietly building an entire hallway. What you thought was delay was protection from something smaller than your destiny. This day carries completion. The cycles that once trapped you end here. The same Tuesday that tested you now becomes the evidence of your transformation. You no longer react from fear, you respond from faith. You no longer chase what left. You attract what's meant to stay. Heaven will not need to announce your breakthrough. It will show it. You will notice small confirmations, a message, a meeting, a moment where everything feels aligned. Divine timing rarely needs fanfare. Its evidence is peace. On this day, the release won't feel like fireworks, it will feel like exhale. All the pressure you've carried will melt into quiet gratitude. Your spirit will whisper, "Now I understand." You will see that every delay was a thread in heaven's design, weaving together something greater than you could have built alone. Chosen one, your story was never behind. It was being written to match heaven's tempo. The moments you thought were lost were simply being preserved for the right chapter. The doors you cried over weren't closed forever, they were waiting for you to become who you are now. The day of release brings restoration in forms you didn't expect. Some answers will come as peace instead of explanation. Some blessings will arrive disguised as responsibility. Some promises will unfold so naturally that you'll realize the miracle happened before you noticed it. This release is not only outward, it's inward. Freedom is arriving first in your heart. The fears that once ruled you lose their hold. The voices that once accused you grow faint. You will look at your reflection and finally see strength instead of survival. And heaven will whisper, "This is why you waited." The day of release also marks a shift in your perspective. You begin to see that every no from God was a greater yes in disguise. You stop asking, "Why did that end?" and start thanking Him for what it made room for. The gratitude you carry will attract even greater grace. This season will carry divine acceleration. What took years before will take months now. What once drained your energy will now unfold with ease. The momentum of heaven will surround you not through striving, but through surrender. You will move with less effort and more effect, because you are finally aligned with the wind of purpose. You have entered the current of divine timing. Everything that belongs to you will begin to recognize you. People, places, opportunities, they will be drawn by the light of obedience you carry. You won't have to push. You will simply position. The release will not make you loud, it will make you luminous. The peace within you will draw what is meant to find you. Others will notice that something about you feels different, though they may not have words for it. That's the mark of release. It transforms presence before it transforms possessions. So, as December 30th dawns, breathe deeply. Let your spirit rest in the assurance that heaven has already moved. You are not waiting for the blessing, you are walking in it. You have passed the test, held your peace, and guarded your Tuesday. Now the floodgates open not with noise, but with knowing. The day of release is not coming. It is here. And heaven whispers, "This is your time." Walk forward gently, for you are stepping on fulfilled prophecy. Every breath you take now carries promise. The waiting is over. Grace has turned your silence into soundless victory. When heaven completes a cycle, there is always stillness before the new song begins. You stand now in that sacred in-between, the hush between what has ended and what is about to start. It is not emptiness, it is holy pause. The air feels softer, the light feels nearer. You are no longer running toward destiny. Destiny is walking with you. Everything has led to this moment. The silence, the struggle, the refining, all were rehearsals for revelation. What once felt scattered now forms a perfect pattern under heaven's hand. The story makes sense, not because it was painless, but because purpose has replaced pain. What you carried was not wasted weight. It was training for strength. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah, chapter 29, verse 11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. That verse has followed you through every chapter, and now it becomes flesh in your life. The plan is unfolding, the future has begun, and the hope that once flickered is now a steady flame. The pain that once defined you has turned into the platform that carries your message. The things that broke you now build others. You have become a vessel of divine reflection. When others look at you, they will not just see a survivor, they will see a signpost. Your life will point the way for those still wandering in the valley you once cried through. That is the true mark of the chosen, to turn suffering into strength and to use wounds as windows for light. There is peace now, but not the fragile peace the world offers, the deep, anchored peace that comes from alignment. It's the peace that doesn't depend on circumstance, the calm that whispers, even if nothing changes, I am still whole. This peace is not the absence of battle. It is the evidence that heaven reigns within you. The journey ahead will not require striving. What once felt like climbing will now feel like gliding. The same winds that resisted you are now lifting you. That is the reversal of divine timing, when the opposition becomes assistance. When what was meant to bury you begins to bless you, you will begin to notice a new rhythm to your days. Ideas will come easily, connections will form naturally, and doors will open quietly without explanation. The flow of heaven will feel effortless because you are no longer fighting it. You are finally synchronized with purpose. Chosen one, you are entering a season where peace and power coexist. You will move gently but carry weight. You will speak softly but shift atmospheres. The authority that comes from obedience is silent yet undeniable. People will feel something different around you and not know why. It is heaven's residue, the fragrance of fulfillment. And with that authority comes new responsibility. The light that crowns you now is not meant to be contained. It's meant to be shared, not in noise, but in example. You will not need to convince anyone. Your peace will preach louder than your words. You will also find that the tests don't vanish. They change shape. They no longer come to destroy, but to develop. The next level of glory always carries new guardians of growth. But this time, you won't fear them. You will recognize them as sculptors, shaping the next expression of your faith. Your heart will feel lighter. The restlessness that once defined you will fade into confidence. You will know when to move and when to stay still. You will no longer pray from desperation, but from partnership, knowing heaven hears even before you speak. And when you look around, you will see the fruit of faith everywhere: reconciled relationships, renewed strength, restored joy. It won't arrive all at once, but like dawn spreading quietly across the horizon, you'll wake one morning and realize this is what peace feels like when it finally fits. What lies ahead will not resemble the past. You are no longer in survival, you are in stewardship. You are not trying to find purpose, you are carrying it. The path ahead will not be free of challenge, but it will be filled with meaning. Every step will feel guided, every pause purposeful. There will be moments of awe when small miracles interrupt your normal days, reminding you that heaven is still invested in your details. You will smile more easily, forgive more quickly, and dream without fear again. You have been rebuilt from the inside out, so rest now. You have reached the threshold of completion, not an ending, but a beginning in perfect disguise. Heaven has not finished with you, it has only repositioned you for greater things. The fire that once purified you will now illuminate your path forward. Lift your eyes, the horizon is bright. The storm has passed, and the sun of favor rises on your name. You are not waiting for breakthrough anymore. You have become it. The story that began with struggle ends with strength, and through you, heaven will continue to write new beginnings. This is not the conclusion, it is continuation in divine rhythm. The chosen one does not retire, they reign. You have walked through every word, every moment, and now you stand where endings turn into beginnings. What you feel right now is not conclusion, it is continuation. The light that began as a whisper within you has become a flame. You carry it now, not as a listener, but as a keeper. If this journey has stirred something deep in you, let that spark move outward. Like this message, not as a reaction, but as recognition, each touch of agreement adds one more star to heaven's sky. If you felt seen, strengthened, or reminded of your purpose, share this message so that another soul somewhere in the shadows can remember their own light. A simple act of sharing becomes a bridge across darkness, connecting hope to hearts you may never meet. If this voice has spoken to your spirit, subscribe to stay connected not to a channel, but to a current of divine reminder that flows through every word. Let these messages continue to find you when your spirit hungers again. And if gratitude wells quietly in your chest, consider giving not out of obligation, but as a gesture of trust. Think of it as pouring oil into the flame that warmed you, ensuring it burns for those still searching for warmth. Every seed you sow becomes a spark that lights another path. Finally, let your heart speak back. Comment below what this journey meant to you, your reflection, your amen, your thank you. Every honest word written becomes part of the echo that tells heaven. The message was received. You are no longer just part of an audience, you are part of a movement. The light has found you and now it travels through you. Keep it alive. Chosen one. The story continues.